The Premier League is back. Arsenal are heading this weekend to Craven Cottage to face Fulham in what has been an awkward fixture in the past. We're going to take a look at the possible lineup, what we're going to need to do to win the game, and the opposition. We're then going to continue our discussion from the last podcast around the possible renovation of the Emirates. What do Arsenal need to do to keep up with our rivals in terms of their stadium? Finally, we're going to look at the hot topic of playing league games in foreign countries. La Liga and Serie A have already started to do so. So will the Premier League follow? And what could this mean for fans? All of this is to come on episode 22 of Red Lines and Half Spaces. Welcome to episode 22 of Red Lines Half Spaces. We're getting near to the end of the international window. I think most of the games have been played, and we're looking forward now to the Premier League coming back. But here's something else we're looking forward to, as always, is my lovely co-host Joe. Now that one, you can't deny, was top-notch, was it, Joe?
They're getting better and better, yeah, I have to say, after the debacle that we had a few weeks ago.
The debacle, it was a minor blip. Minor blip, my friend, minor blip.
The improvement is, well, tenfold now. I'm very impressed with your work. Outstanding.
Don't worry, I'll keep it going. You know, it's going to be like us. It's going to be like a fine wine aging, and I'm going to elevate myself.
A more age, though. Yeah, just remember that some aren't as old as others.
Oh, ouch! Right, hit me right there, Joe. But how are you doing?
I'm very well, mate. Been quite a busy week at work. House stuff still ongoing, still give me nightmares. No, do you know what? Just on a side note of this, considering how much money people pay for properties, I think it's an absolute scandal how long-winded this process is.
Oh,
honestly, it blows my mind. But I cannot believe the amount of paperwork and the amount of phone calls.
How archaic it is, isn't it?
Mad, mate. Considering how much money you're handing over. I just think it is nuts for anyone who's moved house. My hat's off to you.
If anyone has moved house or plans to move house, just be prepared that it is long, arduous, a lot of form filling, and it feels like it takes forever for responses from anything. But
very repetitive as well. I find it's like you have to do the same thing over and over again.
It is, my
friend.
But
anyway, how are you, mate? Are you well?
Yeah, I'm okay, mate. Just a bit busy, family stuff as usual, but. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Premier League returning. I didn't even watch the game yesterday. I didn't even realise that England were playing. I only realised when someone tweeted it out on X. And I was like, oh my God, are England playing? Because I thought it would be Wednesday or something like that. But no, obviously England won yesterday quite handsomely, 5-0. Did you catch any of the game, Joe?
No, yeah. You're well aware of my feeling on the international break. I use it as my chance to kind of escape from football because Arsenal give me enough stress as it is. So during the international break, I like to just get away, watch other things. Football, I kind of ignore it. I keep an eye on Twitter, obviously, for the injury updates and that, which seem quite positive. Not heard anything yet, but yeah, otherwise, mate, football goes on the back burner for me during the international break just to kind of decompress a bit. Ready to go for the next set of fixtures.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we can cover just a little bit about our boys. So obviously Declan Rice, Bukayo Saka all started the game, and I think Miles Lewis-Skelly started last night, did very well. I think Bukayo Saka got an assist as well. So all in all, in terms of those three, I think it's gone very well. But also as well, obviously Eberechi Eze came on and scored a goal as well, which is much needed. I mean, again, it's going to be a key period for Eze because Martin Odegaard we know is out now for a period, and Eze will have to go into that creative area, you feel, because he's done it already. So how would you assess, obviously you didn't watch the game, but for Eze especially, this is a big period, isn't it, coming up? Because obviously he's done pretty well, actually, all things considered. He's got his first goal, got a couple of assists, and really looked really good in terms of creating opportunities for Arsenal. But it's going to be a key period now, isn't it, with we're on top of the Premier League, as we know, but these next games, as we've talked about in our previous podcast, are very key now to us cementing our position in the league, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah, I think with the fixtures coming up, I think they're favourable, if you like. So they're games in which, if Eze was still at Palace, I'd be kind of expecting him to sort of make something happen for Palace. So the fact he's now in an Arsenal team with a lot better players around him, I would like to see him contribute with some G's and A's coming up. I want to see him obviously play well, which he has been doing. But in the next sort of run of fixtures, I think he's there now where, okay, let's start getting some goals. Let's get some assists. If he can come out of the next sort of run of fixtures up to the next international break with a couple of goals, a couple of assists, I think he'll have had a good few games. So, yeah, really looking forward to seeing him in that number 10 role as well. I think it was good that he got that goal last night just for a bit of a confidence boost coming back. And yeah, I'd expect to see him in that number 10 position now going forward instead of Odegaard, obviously with him being injured.
Yeah, and I think for the rest of the boys, it was pretty much job done as usual. You know, obviously Miles Lewis-Skelly's a little bit. It's a little bit different this season because obviously he's not getting as much game time, but he will. I mean, he will get game time.
Did he get 90 minutes last night?
I think he got. Let me. Have
I know
look.
Saka and Rice came off on the half-hour mark, which is good.
Which is very good for us, isn't it? You know.
Equally, I think if MLS did get 90 minutes, that's a good thing for me. I think he needs the minutes.
I think he did get. He got a good couple. Let me just. I mean, again, I'm admitting here that I didn't watch the game. Let me just have a look at it. So
I'm sure you're not the only Arsenal fan who tuned out of international football this weekend. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, so he got the full 90 actually. So
yeah, so that's good. I think Miles could do with 90 minutes, obviously, given the lack of minutes he's had for us recently. So that's good. Declan Rice and Saka, obviously, hour each and off. That's ideal, really. Sounds good.
That's as good as you're going to get because they're two key players, aren't they? Regardless of, you know, our personal feelings. For England, they are the two of the main men, aren't they? You know, along with Kane, probably Pickford. I don't think anyone else other than those two are as key, are they, really? You know, it's...
No, I mean, Declan Rice is... Well, he just Mr. Consistent, isn't he? And Saka, I think, over the last sort of 18 months, obviously his injury aside, I think you could probably argue he's been one of England's best players. So, no, they're both pivotal to Arsenal. They're both pivotal to England. So, yeah, good to see Tuchel with a little bit of squad management in mind, keeping players obviously Latvia away. You don't need Declan Rice and Saka playing 90 minutes in that game. So no, that's good to see.
Yeah. So obviously, hopefully, come back with a clean bill of health. We're waiting on our other players to come back as well. We're hoping, fingers crossed, there's no concerns. Obviously, as well, I don't know if you saw it. Gabriel Martinelli scored as well for Brazil. Looked very good.
Yeah, good little finish. Playing centrally as well, I think.
Well, he's rotated. This is what I liked. He rotated with Vinicius Junior in either being left wing or up front. I quite like that, and I think him and Gyökeres, I thought they would do that a bit more. You know, rotate a little bit too, because Gyökeres likes to drift out to the left, doesn't he? So hopefully that's a little bit more of a prelude to Martinelli. We already know is a good player. It's just that he's not. I keep saying he's not platformed correctly, isn't it, Joe? Really?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a bit of both. Like Martinelli, I think has had confidence issues recently. Obviously, we've seen kind of at the start of this season, wasn't doing a lot, but then he's had a little run of games in the Champions League, obviously Man City, where he pops up with important goals for us. So that's really promising. And obviously now going away with Brazil, getting a goal again. Hopefully that all just is confidence building for him. I totally agree. I think we can support him better than we have done and play him in a more sort of Martinelli friendly like role. But I think you could say it's a 50-50 split. I think sort of as a team we need to do more. But I think Martinelli would probably admit he needs to do more, be a bit more confident. And it seems like with the goals recently, that confidence is slowly returning, which can only benefit us.
Yeah, I think that's great. So, Joe, let's shift gears a little bit. We've talked about the internationals as much as we can do because, again, we haven't watched any of them, and nor do we want to.
Marino did get another couple, though, the goal machine.
Oh, yes, of course. Let's talk about that.
Mikel Marino, the absolute
How
goal
does
machine.
he do this? How is this? Right, I messaged a couple of people last night. I am so confused by Mikel Marino. He looks like he's going to be the top scorer at the World Cup next season based off form, pretty much, isn't it? You know, he's scoring goals for fun for Spain, and Spain will probably be one of the favourites. But how is it that we can't platform this guy properly to do it for us? I mean, he did get the crucial goal against Newcastle, obviously the first one that brought us back, but generally he doesn't look as good as he does for Spain, does he? With Arsenal.
No, I mean, I would have to actually sit and watch some Spain games to see how they play him and what kind of role he's fulfilling in that team, because the only sort of thing I see of it is sort of Twitter as the games are going on. And every sort of international break, it seems like, oh, Marino's got another 2, Marino's got a hat-trick, oh, Marino scored again. It's wild what he's doing. So, no, I mean, if we can, like we said, he scored a really important goal for us at Newcastle, scored some big goals for us last year, obviously, when he was sort of up front and Havertz was out. So he can do it. We know what he's capable of. He's done it for us. He's doing it consistently for Spain. So, again, this is a player who we consider sort of a backup option. So to have that as one of your backup players is, I mean, it just shows the strength and depth of the squad we have.
So here's my question, Joe. He's not a defensive midfielder. I don't think he is. I can't see that he's physical enough or does the job well enough in the defensive midfield. I think he's more of a box crasher in terms of he's almost a Declan Rice, but going forward, he's more of he's a goal threat, isn't he? Whereas Declan Rice will get you up the field better, transition you better. But Marino coming in late into the box is what you want, really, isn't it? If we were playing that way, I don't think we do play that way very well because we're kind of slow build up, pass, cross into the box and hope for the best, isn't it? And then play for set pieces at the moment.
I didn't see his first goal, but I saw his second one was a header where he kind of just sort of drifted into the box a bit later than everyone else, and it's a phenomenal header. So yeah, man, like I said, I think he is that. He's not a number 10. He's not sort of a sitting player. He's just kind of almost like an old school midfielder where he just kind of plays in the middle of the pitch and just arrives in the box late and gets on the end of things. Like he's almost like a bit of a throwback away from like a lot of teams obviously these days play 3 midfield, but I can imagine him playing in a 2. Just with someone sort of like, back in the 90s when you had
you hold it,
sort of like that, and Keane and Scholes and players like that. Like you can imagine him playing alongside someone as more like the more attacking option, if you like. But no, he's a brilliant player, mate. And I'm not considering not long ago we was looking at players like Mohamed El Neni. No respect to Mohamed El Neni, but that was our backup choice in midfield. Yeah. And we've now got someone who scores goals for fun for Spain and is just tearing it up. So. Yeah, absolutely. It's a problem that Mikel Arteta's got, but what a lovely problem to have.
Yeah, because he's a threat. He is a goal threat. Even if you bring him on, I think when he starts, it doesn't come through quite as well. But when he comes off the bench, it's like Trossard for me personally. When he comes off the bench, he looks much more dangerous because he can find the spaces, and teams aren't ready for his, heading ability, especially in the box. So, yeah, hopefully we can get more out of Mikel Merino. Joe, I wanted to just expand upon a thread that we talked about in the last podcast with James, and that's the stadium. Obviously, we are looking at the expansion or the renovation / expansion of the Emirates, and it's obviously not without concerns. Looking at our rivals, Tottenham have built their new stadium, been lauded as one of the best in Europe. Real Madrid have gone through their renovation. It looks fabulous as well. And you've talked about, obviously, we need these extra events, activities, initiatives to really keep our revenues going, because it's a tough world. We're not backed by the Kroenkes to the degree that the Abu Dhabi family back Man City or those kind of entities. What needs to happen in this renovation for you, really, apart from expansion of the seats, of the general seats? Is that all we need to do? Or are we looking at completely tearing the current structure of the facilities inside? Because, again, to your point, Joe, it's a bit of a problem, isn't it, when people are going to purchase food, drink? It feels like it's not agile enough, but it's not efficient enough when you get there. There's massive queues at halftime, and there's always some kind of problem and slowness of delivery, all these kind of things. What needs to happen to really elevate us into that premier? And we are nearly there, a premier location for games, sport, initiatives, all of those kind of things, Joe.
Yeah, like we said in the last podcast, mate, I think it is a lot of it is about making the Emirates more kind of sort of friendly for sort of fans, and hopefully potentially along the way people who attend music concerts and other things that Arsenal will put on there, if they kind of get their way with what's happening. But I think, like we kind of touched on, at the moment it seems almost quite dated. I know it's only 20 years old, but the world at the moment and sort of the way things are developing, it's moving on at such a speed that something that was built 20 years ago now seems ancient, because technology and all this sort of stuff's moved on so quickly. You just have to look at Spurs' ground and the SoFi Stadium. Like, there's not that much time difference between when they were built, when the Arsenal Stadium was built. But you just to look at them, you think, wow, the Arsenal Stadium must have been built 50 years before that, just because there's such a difference in sort of how they look and how they're ran, with the facilities and whatnot. So I think Arsenal are looking, by the sounds of it, to increase capacity. It will be difficult given the location, obviously having mainline trains running through, and got the Piccadilly line running past there as well. So we're in a bit of a tricky spot. But I saw that, was it Benfica have got the same sort of the
Yeah,
same
they
team
have.
built their stadium, and they've recently been doing some stuff there, and I think they went down to add an extra about 3,000 seats, I think it was, roughly. So that's something potentially Arsenal may look at. So I've seen they're talking about, making the stands steeper, um, making the seats smaller, and then that can increase capacity without having to sort of knock the building down and rebuild it. You can increase capacity by
Yeah.
not making too many changes. I did read like an engineer's thing online. It was saying that basically Arsenal have to take the roof off. Whatever they do, the roof has to come off, because if they do go for like the steeper
Yeah, they have to
stands,
adjust it.
yeah, that's going to have to come off. So I can only imagine how difficult that's going to be in that part of London. But no, it's promising from Arsenal. I think it's good to see that they're thinking of this and thinking, okay, we can definitely be better in this field. And like we said during the week, I think that's why they've brought in. Sorry, his name escapes me. The new guy on the board. Yeah,
Mally, he's a real estate. He's the
yeah,
one who worked on the SoFi Stadium, and the SoFi
yeah,
Stadium is an amazing stadium, isn't it? You just look at it, you go, "Wow,
yeah.
that
So
is."
to have that level of expertise, that's obviously not a coincidence. He's been brought in because Arsenal are clearly looking at this. So yeah, it's definitely an area where we can improve, and it's good to see the club looking at that. The only thing that worries me, and I'll be interested to get your thoughts on this, is obviously the last time we moved stadium, we had arguably the best team we've ever had. And now we're at a stage where we've got the best team we've had for a long, long time. Are you concerned that this could be sort of history repeating itself? And with obviously this amazing team we've got, if we go on and go to do good things this year, are we then going to have like the financial struggles, and we'll have to start selling players again and all that sort of thing? So I'm not sure how willing fans would be to go back to the years of top four as a trophy and go through all that again so soon after doing it, obviously not that long ago.
It depends a lot on the Kroenkes and how they structure this deal, because obviously stadium costs are not factored into your financial fair play. That's infrastructure, and I think that's completely
Okay.
separated, which is a good thing.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's going to come down to how we, finance this and how we bankroll it through the Kroenkes, because the Kroenkes are the ones who are going to have to do this, and they've got the experience, obviously. There's a couple of caveats in terms of differences between the SoFi Stadium and this one. SoFi Stadium, there was a lot of financial help from the state, effectively.
Right.
Whereas for us, Islington are not going to help us. It's not like Hackney, where Hackney helped Tottenham to build the stadium. I think they gave a lot of grants. Islington are not that. They have not been as helpful. They don't. In fact, it's been more of a struggle with Islington generally, because they've wanted this condition. So, for example, when we built the Emirates, they wanted the Ashburton Grove site, obviously, to be cleared out for a refuse facility, which I think it is now. I think there's also a concern around the Arsenal stadium itself, in that can it handle the uprated amount of people, because it's not great in terms of getting there. It's better than Tottenham's, for example, because to get there you have to walk like a 2 mile walk from
Yeah,
Seven Sisters.
you know what? Genuinely, I think obviously we've been fortunate enough to go to quite a few stadiums, and sort
Yeah.
of watch the Arsenal. I don't know whether I'm being a bit biased here, but I genuinely think Arsenal is one of the easiest stadiums to kind of get to and from. I know there's obviously big crowds, but the thing is, there's so many options all within sort of a 15-minute walk. You've got Highbury Islington Station, you've got Arsenal Station, you've got Finsbury Park Station for all kind of getting away. And then obviously to get to the game, people can go to Drayton Park up to a certain time. You've got Holloway Road up to a certain time. I don't think there's many other stadiums where you could say there's kind of 5 stations all within a 15, 20-minute walk. So and generally, obviously, you're so close to King's Cross as well. We got bus links. I think genuinely the links there are really good compared to other stadiums. So I'd find it a bit strange that people are kind of worried about that, because I think
I don't think it's a
that's one
worry.
of my strengths.
I don't think it's a worry, because I agree with you. I think we've got the best links that I've seen. If I take Brighton's stadium, for example, it's a nightmare to get to, because you have to park and get a bus, and that bus is only running like every 20 minutes. So if you've got, like 30,000 fans coming, that's a nightmare. And I've seen other ones. We've been to Wigan, for example. That's next to a shopping centre, so you've got to do that. Even the London Stadium, like the London Stadium is well positioned. But getting out of there is an absolute nightmare if you've parked up, and if even walking back, it's like a good 20-minute walk from the station from the stadium to the station. So there are concerns. Whereas, as you said, we've got 3 or 4 stadiums that are open, 3 or 4 stations that are open regularly, and then obviously you've got more that are open just beforehand if you come in early, grab a food, and also the facilities around there are excellent. You've got lots of shops, lots of. I think it's about, if we expand the stadium, do we have this? Does it have the transport capacity to update appropriately? You've got, if you say 80,000 people, I'm not saying that's what it's going to be. 80,000 people come in. Arsenal Station, I think, would have a problem then, because it's already a struggle. It's already, I think, at its bursting point. So I think you need to do that, and that's a lot of work. So I think there are underlying infrastructure concerns around updating the stadium. As well as that, you've got a lot of flats nearby as well. Some of them are our own, some of them are not. So there are a number of concerns, but again, this is why you've got the expertise of someone like Mally on the board to work through those, work with Islington. I think it's different from when we built the Emirates, because we've got more leverage. We're bringing more revenue to Islington, so do they want to lose that? I doubt that. But anyway, Joe, let's move on. I think we've talked enough about the stadium. Let's talk a little bit about a topic that's come up that maybe is indirectly related to us historically, but obviously is a concern, and that's the playing of league fixtures in foreign countries. I'm going to preface this. Our international fans are some of the best fans around. They're dedicated. They wake up at God knows ungodly hours to watch the team and support them as vociferously as local fans. I've always said this. I have nothing but respect for our international fans. I've seen it directly up close when I go back to Bangladesh, and I've watched it with my cousins, and they're just as mad as I am about Arsenal. But I do have concerns about the plans that have coming. So what's happened? So if you're not familiar, the La Liga and Serie A are going to be playing 2 fixtures outside of their league country of origin. So the La Liga game will be taking place in Miami, and the Serie A game will be taking place in Australia. This is kind of prefaced by the attempted Super League coup a couple of years ago, Joe, and it scares me a little bit back to then, because remember, that came out of nowhere and it took us by surprise, and we were not no fan was happy, and obviously it got turned around, which was fantastic fan power. But I find this is a little bit more of an insidious attempt to get to the Super League format by saying, hey, look, this has worked for La Liga, and we've got this now, Australia and all this, and let's start putting more games out there. How are you feeling about this, and this kind of attempt to take games outside of the league, and especially if we get to the Premier League games? Do you see it happening? And if so, what kind of effect that has on not only the fan base in the country, but the league structure as a whole? Because I think it's going to be a real problem for travel, money is obviously the main driver for this, but I have concerns about travel, player welfare, fan welfare as well, because you're going to have fans who want to go out there, and that's expensive. It's already expensive to go to a football game, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah, I think you're right to say obviously it's a bit of a concern. Um, my biggest worry is how many clubs now have sort of American owners. Um, Obviously, for decisions to go through, it's 14 out of the 20, isn't it? I think clubs need to agree,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure that we are close to, if not above, 14 American owners in the Premier League. So if they wanted to, I think they would be in a quite a strong position to make it happen. But I think what we saw from the fans when it came to the Super League is that fans won't have it. I think for the most part, fans are quite flexible. Um, if they see something that's going to benefit the club, I think a lot of us would kind of maybe begrudgingly accept why it's happening. But I think when it comes to this, I can't see anyone being happy with this. And I think you'd see similar levels of protest if they did try and move a Premier League game. By all means, go and play your friendlies, go on your pre-season tours. If you want to play a couple of friendlies at the end of a season when there's no internationals on, by all means, go and kind of give the fans a chance to see the Arsenal in. But you don't move a Premier League game away from our home stadium. Even like kind of linking in the talk about the stadium development, we're even a bit skeptical about moving to Wembley, and that's a couple of miles away. So no one's going to accept taking a game hundreds and hundreds of miles away. I think this is mainly a way for La Liga and Serie A to kind of try and earn a bit more money, because obviously the Premier League, I think the rough estimate of total revenues was between about 7 to 9 billion euros. That is for the Premier League. La Liga and Serie A are both around 4 billion, so it's half of what the
Yeah.
Premier League earns. So I think that's a big push behind it. I think they know that they're kind of being trounced by the Premier League in terms of revenues, and they're looking at ways to try and catch up if you can. For me personally, this is a terrible way to do it. I can't imagine the fans in Spain are going to be, and Italy are going to be happy with this. You pay an awful lot of money for a season ticket. So how's that going to work? Are you going to be reimbursed for that game? Are you going to be expected to go? Obviously, Arsenal say if you don't use a certain amount of credits, your season tickets gets taken off you. Would it take into account this game? Would that be one that straight away you can't go to and you lose a credit? It's all things to take into account. But for the moment, I don't see this happening in England. I don't think that fans would allow it to happen. I think there'd be too much backlash. And club owners have already seen how strong the fans can be when it comes to the Super League. So, yeah, for me at the moment, I think it's a bit of a non-starter, but Arsenal have to play Premier League games at the Emirates Stadium in North London. That's just how it is.
Yeah, I agree. I'm firmly against these kind of foreign games. I know the NFL have done it. I think the NFL is structured very differently. It doesn't have the same tribalism. It doesn't feel like that we get in football. In this, it's deeply rooted in the community as well. It's not, we see NFL teams moving, on a whim almost, in some cases.
Mm.
But I don't think you can do that with a football club. They're very rooted in where they are. Look what happened with Milton, with Wimbledon when it moved. It got so vociferous it split into another club, didn't it? I just can't see football being done in the same way. Part of the appeal of the Premier League is not being on foreign soil. It's the competitiveness that every week is a competitive game. You've got the best players. Why are the best players here? Because it's the best league. That it's not about, oh, we're playing in a foreign country and we're doing this. I know you want to appeal to international fans, but I think international fans are also very smart, and they'll say, yeah, we get to see this, but it's a terrible game. It's Barcelona versus Villarreal. Who wants to watch that? If you're a Barcelona fan, you want to see the biggest games, and that's not going to happen. That will be in country. You want to see you see the El Clasico or Atletico Madrid. So I think international fans are smarter than that. You'll certainly get a good stadium turnout, but will it be as good as what expected? No. Look what happened in America. In America, when the Club World Cup didn't really do as well as what FIFA thought it would do, did it? It was.
No,
I know
they
that
was giving away tickets in the end, weren't they?
exactly. I just think that fans are very smart. They're still. they will support their teams wherever they go. And yes, we want to bring the experience to them, and friendlies do that. The tours are actually even better because at least the tours are a congregated amount of games with bits and pieces in between. They go and see the fans. They go and do this. If they're playing a Premier League game, they're going to not be there for 3 to 4 days. They're going to be there for a day, get out and get back, and then they're going to be more tired. So why do you do that? It's much more relaxed, and then the fans feel much more interactive. Look what happened in Singapore this year and in the Far East. It felt like a much more fan zone friendly kind of experience because they got to experience the team for a couple of days in the area. Just feels like it'll be too rushed and too much about one game and nothing else rather than a tour. So I'm firmly against it. Joe, let's get to the real meat and potatoes of this, and that's the return of the Premier League.
Hallelujah.
This weekend,
We've made it. Well done, everybody.
Everyone.
We've survived another international break, and it's time to talk Premier League.
Exactly, Joe. We've waited for it for a while, and we need to get it back as soon as possible because it's internationals. So boring. This weekend we go to Fulham away, Craven Cottage by the Thames. Lovely day out. Always, if you're lucky enough to go by boat to Fulham, good luck because it gets dicey there. It gets dicey on the boats. I'm having been on it before, but it's a lovely experience. Joe, let's preface this a little bit. Fulham, Craven Cottage has been a very awkward place to go to in the last couple of years, hasn't it? I am not particularly. I wouldn't say excited. I am slightly worried about this because, again, Fulham are going actually very well. They haven't spent much, and Marcus Silva's had very little to work with in terms of squad depth, but they are a very good squad, very powerful, robust defence, good keeper in Bert Leno, who we know very well, and some surprising good attacking players. Iwobi's doing really well. Raul Jimenez has started to come back on form. You've got, ESR who comes on. And as well, you've got Josh King, who looks very good as a very good player. So, Joe, how are you feeling before this game? Because obviously this is the run that we've talked about, that these 5 games in the Premier League coming up are against what we call not lesser teams, but teams that we should be winning against. And obviously last year we drew 1-1 with Fulham at Craven Cottage. And we were on top by a long way. But they just sucker punched us, and they are capable of the sucker punch as well. Which is let's make sure we get that clear. They are capable of the sucker punch. So, how are you feeling going into this game, Joe?
Similar to West Ham. I remember we've done the preview of that. I said that it should be the sort of game that we skip into very confident. Think, we can control this game. We can get a few goals, and we'll be out of there. But obviously, the last few trips to Fulham have been very similar to the last few trips that West Ham have made to the Emirates. So we go in with let's say we've got a little bit of a scar, shall we, from the last couple of games, which hopefully, if anything to go by this season, we can use as a positive because we've righted a few of the wrongs from last year in the last few games, Newcastle and West Ham. So going into Fulham, yes, they've done quite well. Obviously, they drew with City 1-1 and lost to Chelsea. They beat Leeds 1-0, beat Brentford 3-1, but then have lost to Villa and Bournemouth, both 3-1 losses. So
Craven Cottage, Joe, very, very good record, isn't it? They haven't been beaten yet this season.
Yeah, got a good record at home, but we're very fucking good, Yem. Sorry, I've done it again. I've given you work. I'm really sorry.
Joe!
Sorry.
Kids can't listen now. What is this?
Second time this week, you'll have to put the bleeper on it. I'm sorry. But we are a very good team. So, no, I mean, I would expect us, like we kind of said on the podcast with James at the start of the week, I would expect us now over these next few fixtures to really flex our muscles, show off the squad depth we have, show the quality we now have. I know Odegaard's out, but touch wood at the moment, it doesn't sound like there's too many other injuries. God willing, everyone obviously makes it back from internationals fit. And I think we can go into Fulham confident, mate. We're not overconfident, but I think we can go into that game thinking this is a game we should be winning. And if we want to win a Premier League, we have to go there and get 3 points. It's as simple as that, no matter how good Fulham's home form is.
Yeah, no, 3 points is a must. We've talked about this. This is now the period where we have to take advantage. This weekend, Liverpool play Man United. Look, Man United are in terrible form, but I always think that game is effectively a derby. And it's so hard to predict how that will go because, Man United are up for it. And when Man United are up for it, like they were against us, they tend to be pretty decent. But Joe, you're right. Look, we should be looking to win this game and flex our muscles around, look, we are title contenders, but it's not going to be easy. Let's just dive into some of the player related issues. Our injuries. Martin Odegaard is out. That's absolutely certain now. Kai Havertz is still out, I believe. We are waiting on news about Pierre Nketiah if he's going to make it for this game. But hopefully, the noises were that he should be fit round about now. He may make the bench. Let's have a look. So
that was the talk before the international break, wasn't it? They said he'd be back after the internationals. So
yeah. So look, he may be on the bench. Declan Rice should be fine because he's played in the midweek and he looked okay. Kai Havertz still out, probably November-ish before he comes back. Martin Odegaard certainly out. Jesus is certainly out. Other than that, Joe, hopefully we've got a clean bill of health, it sounds like. How are you lining up for this game? Let's start with the goalkeeper. That's an obvious one. David Raya will start. There's no centre back. So let's look at the back four. I'm gonna stick with what's already working. Why are you going to change it? Ricardo Calafiori, Gabriel Magalhaes, William Saliba, you're in Timber. Anything different for you?
No, that's what I'd go for, mate. I know Gabriel's obviously and Martinelli, they've both been, I think, was it in Japan they played?
But that was on Monday. That was on Monday, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's still a long old trip, and I don't think either of them played a full night. And I think Gabriel might have actually been rested for the second game.
He was rested for that game, wasn't he? Yeah.
So it's a long journey, but I think with the proper recovery, which he'll get when he returns, I think he should be ready to go. Obviously, Mosquera is there if needed, but I would, like you said, mate, I'd be more than happy to go with the back four that have been, well, the back five, sorry, that have been outstanding so far this season.
That's a good question, Joe, because we have to caveat this with that we've got a midweek game against a very strong opponent in Atletico Madrid. So maybe that will factor into Arteta's thinking that he may go Mosquera just because, and maybe he may go with Ben White or Lewis Skelly as well, just because we have got, Atletico Madrid in the midweek. It's not like we can take them lightly. They are a very good team this year. So
no, I think the route I'd rather see us go down is get the game won and then get people off rather than rotate and having to kind of save the game, if you like. So let's go there with our strongest 11 off the back of the international. We kind of start afresh now. This is almost look at it as like the first game, if you want. So let's go there with our strongest team. Let's try and get the game won. And if on the hour, 65, 70 minutes, you can start then a bit of rotation, resting some legs, go down that route rather than having to try and save a game at 60 minutes and loading players on and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, fair enough. And then if we look at the midfield, for me, it's got to be Zubimendi, Rice, Emirates, Eze. Do you agree with that, Joe?
Yeah, that's what I'd go for, mate. I think Rice and Zubimendi against West Ham were fantastic. I think they've both have been fantastic for us so far this season.
Best midfield pairing in the league for you?
It's definitely got the potential to be that. Want to see him do it over a few more games. Obviously, they've only had 6 or 7 games, very sort of small sample size. But I think if we're going to go on and achieve what we want to achieve this year, I think a big part will be down to that sort of the midfield pair, if you like. And they've got all the potential to do it because they've got all the attributes. So no, I think they can be, but I'd want to see it over a longer kind of a longer sample size, if you like. But then, yeah, for me, Wanyeri's been good, don't get me wrong, but I'd be looking to start Eze because I think with Odegaard out for obviously around a month or whatever it will be, I think you'd look for Eze to start the majority of them games and maybe Ethan can come on to give Eze a rest. And that's how I'd be looking to play that one.
Yeah, big, as we said at the outset, big onus on Eze now to really cement that place and actually compete with Martin Odegaard to say, look, you ain't got it easy, but mate, I'm here and I can deliver as well. Up front, this is where it's going to get interesting because Victor Gyökeres will start up front. Bukayo Saka will start at right wing. That I don't think there's any doubt of that. I get the feeling, and I hate
Say
to
his
say
name,
this,
Yem. Say his name.
Leo Trossard will start at the left wing because he's done it for the last couple of games, and
Scored
Arteta
for
seems
Belgium
to have,
again, though, didn't he? I saw he scored a goal this week
but he
on the
doesn't
international.
score when he starts for us. I don't get it. And I'd rather have Martinelli, but it doesn't seem that way. I think it's going to be Trossard, isn't it?
I think it will be, just because I think Mikel may use the travel sort of excuse of coming back from Japan. I think that might be the reason he says that he's going to play Trossard. But like you, mate, and we've said it before, Martinelli's been in good form. He's looked confident, and I would like to see the front three of Saka, Gyökeres, Martinelli, because I just think that's more dynamic and puts a bit more fear into the opposition, I think. But yeah, if Trossard starts, I think you know what you're sort of going to get. Unfortunately, if he comes off the bench, you know he's going to score. So let's wait and see.
Let's wait and see. In terms of Fulham, I'm looking at the Premier League injuries. They've got a few injuries. So Sasa Lukic is going to be out. Raul Jimenez potentially out as well. Kenny Tete out, and then Rodrigo Muniz is potentially out. Might come back. They're still going to be a formidable team, aren't they? I'm still expecting a pretty good contest from Fulham, because Marco Silva's done really well with them, and I think that's his level, isn't it? I think this is where he will get the most benefit out of teams. He's not necessarily. I think at a bigger club he struggles, but I think this is his level, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, he's done a really good job at Fulham, hasn't he? To be fair, I think the Nottingham Forest owner could look at Fulham and maybe see that if you give a good manager, a bit of time, what he can do for you. So, yeah, they've done well. I mean, I know you said their home form's been quite good, but I don't think they've really played. Who they had at home? Is it Leeds?
Man United. They've had Man United.
Leeds, Brentford, was it?
Yeah, and to be fair, Man United actually gave them a game. They were actually the better team.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're strong at home, but again, mate, I just think that if you look at the players we have, the squad depth, the lineup we can put out, Fulham may be good at home, but we should have too much for them, shouldn't we? I know football's a complicated game, but let's try and look at it simply. We have the better players, we have the better squad. We should be able to go there and get a favourable result.
It's just as simple as that, isn't it, Joe? It's as simple as that. Better team, better players, get them out.
Who was it that said football's a simple game made complicated by idiots? Let's not be idiots. Let's just go with it simply. Arsenal have the better team. We've been in good form. Obviously we went away to Anfield, played really well. No, we lost the game, but we put in a solid performance there against last year's champions. We went away to Newcastle. Obviously, very difficult game, but again, played really well. Got the 3 points there, and we just were really outstanding in that game. I thought that was really good. Who was the other away game that we had? I can't think off the top of my head. Would have been a victory somewhere.
Man United.
Oh, well, yeah, that game was a terrible game, but we still got the win. So,
yeah, but that's proven again that it doesn't matter if you have a terrible game. We still have to win, don't we? You know,
exactly.
Look,
our away form's good, mate. We're if anything, I think that we're better away from home than we are at home most of the time. When we go away to places, I feel more confident about wins than when we're at home. I don't know if it's because I like obviously sitting in the stadium, you sort of get the nerves and whatnot, and you sort of quite heavily emotionally invested in it. But I don't know why. I just think our kind of style of play, if you like, it suits us going away, because other teams, obviously, when they're at home, feel that they have to come out a little bit more. And when teams do that against us, I'd like to say more often than not, we can come out on top and sort of get the result we want. So, no, going away to Fulham, I'm cautiously optimistic, shall we say.
Okay, I like it. Cautiously optimistic. So let's roll this into our next section, which I'm going to hand over to you, Joe, which is the Predictor's Game.
We are back. Obviously, we missed the last set of fixtures due to family commitments and whatnot.
I just being on my part being lazy and not giving you my predictions well ahead of time because I was.
I mean, funny enough, I didn't send them to you, but I got every single score and result correct.
Did you?
I know.
So did I. Amazing.
Do
you know what?
We got about 90 points each last week. So well done.
I think we're going to have to discount the last round, aren't we? Really,
Yeah,
from
last
the
round we'll say it was null and void. But no,
Yeah.
into this week, and we are kicking off with Nottingham Forest at home to Chelsea.
I can't see anything else but a Chelsea win because I think Ange is pretty much on the chopping block already, isn't it? The noises are there. When the noises start, Joe, it pretty much nets out, doesn't it? It's very rare that I don't think he survives. I think we're going to see the return of anti-woke football shortly with Sean Dyche. I think Chelsea will win this. I think they're going to win this 3-1.
3-1? Yeah, I can see that. 3-1 Chelsea. Okay, I'm going to go. I think Chelsea played really well last time out against Liverpool. It's whether they can continue that. They can really sort of put in good performances in these big games, but it's whether they can show the same kind of motivation when you play these kind of the lesser fixtures, if you like. I think in this one they will. I'm going to go for a 2-0 to Chelsea for me. Next one, bit of a this is an exciting game actually. Burnley against Leeds.
It's going to be a scrap, isn't it?
It's going to be a 90s throwback, this one, I reckon.
Yeah, Leeds surprised me a little bit. They're not too bad, actually. I think they've got a little bit more quality than Burnley. I think Burnley are they're pretty much the favourites to go down with Wolves, I think, at the moment. I'm going to go with the Leeds 2-1 win.
2-1 Leeds.
Back to my old scoreline.
It only took us one result to get there. I was surprised you didn't go for Chelsea 2-1, but
I was tempted. I was really tempted, you know.
Yeah, I think Burnley and Leeds, they've had similar starts. I think Leeds have got a bit more credit because obviously they've had the win against Wolves, got a good draw against Bournemouth. Played all right against Spurs for about an hour, but I think then the legs just kind of legs told. But I think Leeds will win. I'm going to go for. I think Burnley will score because they're at home. Annoying. I'm agreeing with you, yeah. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Leeds. No. I think that's a good guess. Brighton at home to Newcastle.
I think Brighton are going to win this. Actually, I think Brighton are one of these teams who do well against the Newcastle types. You know, they're equally as fast, they're equally as aggressive. I'm going to go with a. Actually, I might go with a draw actually on this one because I think that it's got potential for it. I'm going to go with a 1-1.
1-1. Yeah. Well, again, I think they're pretty close in the table. I think they're having similar seasons.
Yeah.
I think a draw. I'm going draw as well, but I think this could be a 2-2.
Okay.
I think there'll be a few goals. So I'm going to have a 2-2 draw.
Okay.
Next one, Sunderland against Wolves. Sunderland are at home.
Yeah, I think Sunderland will win this. I think Sunderland do very well at the Stadium and Light. I think Wolves are looking really bad at the moment. I think they're really struggling to get any form at all. None of their players seem to be hitting any kind of form individually. I think Sunderland will win this 1-0.
That's exactly what I was going to say, but I'm not copying you again. So you're going 1-0. I think, yeah, similar to you, mate. I think this has got Sunderland win on it. So I'm going to use your favourite result and go for a 2-1 to Sunderland.
Okay.
Palace at home to Bournemouth. That'll be a good game. That'll
be a very good game because they're both very good teams. But I think Palace will edge this one out. I think Palace are a very good team. I think we were rooting for Everton in the last game to get a goal against them suggests how good they are in terms of their threat to the top teams at the moment. I think Crystal Palace will win this 2-1.
2-1. I'm going to go opposite, and I'm going to go for a Bournemouth win.
Ooh.
I think Palace may have had a bit of a confidence knock, obviously losing it to Everton last time out. And I think Semenyo is just in unbelievable form. He's looking so good. So I'm going to go for the reverse of your prediction. That's going to be a 2-1 win for Bournemouth.
Okay, interesting.
Man City at home to Everton.
If this was at Everton's ground, I would have said it will be a much tougher contest. Being at the Etihad, I think Man City will trounce them because I just think that Everton are showing very good home form, but away from home they look really. They don't look the same team for some reason. I think it's just the crowd gets behind them, and I think it's just a different energy. I think Man City will win this with an Erling Haaland hat-trick, and I hate that robot keeps going. 3-0.
3-0 and a Haaland hat-trick. Tell you what, if
Yeah.
Haaland gets a hat-trick, I'll give you a bonus point. How about
Yay.
that?
Come on, you're a robot. Get your programming sorted and get me a point.
I'm going to go for a City 3-1. I think Everton might nick a goal. But again, where from? Mind you, they're scoring a few goals. They beat Brighton 2-0, beat Wolves 3-2. So they are scoring goals. I don't know where it's going to come from, but I fancy him to get a goal. So
I think they'll be overwhelmed before they even try to get a goal, because City will just blow them away in the first few minutes.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3-1. I think it'll be a City win. Fulham playing the mighty Arsenal. I already know what result you're going for here.
No, I'm not actually. Don't you guess what I'm trying to do?
Nailed on one of your favourite scorelines again.
No, because I've got confidence in the lads, and I think Victor Gyökeres is going to get something here for us. He's going to come good. I'm going with a 3-1 Arsenal. 3-1. See, how do you like that? How do you like that? Boom! Boom!
You've moved away from your usual. I'm slightly concerned.
You're going to go 2-1. You're going to go 2-1, aren't you?
No, I'm going to. I like I said, I always prefer us away from home. I just think it's almost like we're more suited to playing away. So I'm going to go for a 0-2. I think we can. I think we can keep a clean sheet and nick a couple of goals. So.
Okay.
On to the Sunday fixtures. First one is Tottenham against Aston Villa.
Villa have had a bit of a revival, but I don't think it's enough. I think Tottenham are going to win this. I think it's going to be a 2-1 to Tottenham. I hate that.
We're back.
And Watkins is out, isn't he, as well? He got injured, didn't he? He collided with the post, apparently, on England.
Did he?
That's not great.
Like concussion or?
I think it was the other way around, if you get my meaning.
Say no more. Moving swiftly on, because we've already got some questionable language on this programme. Tottenham against Villa. Last year, I would have said this could be like a 2-2 game, but I think Villa have been really poor so far this year.
Yeah.
I'm going to go, I think, a 2-0 Spurs. I think Thomas Frank's a good manager. I think he's got them playing a lot better. Liverpool against United at Anfield.
I've just realised it's at Anfield. So if it would have been the other way around, I would have said, Man United might have a chance. Man United got no chance in this one. I think Liverpool are going to be steaming. Slot's that head of his is going to be steaming like when FK has is fuming at a game. It's literally, you can see the steam coming off his head. I think Slot's going to be the same at the moment. FK, we love you again. Thank you for the lovely tweet out. Just prefacing it, love you to bits. Yeah, I think Liverpool are going to turn Man United over quite easily. Harry Maguire is going to start at the centre of that back three and get absolutely turned over in 2 minutes by Isak. I am going to go with a 3-1 to Liverpool.
3-1 Liverpool. Liverpool have been struggling form-wise, haven't they? They lost the last two? I think Man United aren't exactly.
Man United, exactly. It's at Anfield as well.
Yeah.
The only thing as well, I'm going to caveat this with is the injury situation. Ryan Gravenberch obviously went off. Wataru Endo is out at the moment, so that represents a bit of a dilemma, because without Gravenberch, they look a very different team in terms of their midfield. Because obviously, then you've got McAllister and maybe Szoboszlai in the midfield, which is not that defensively minded, but still should be serviceable against Man United.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, this, because both teams are a bit Jekyll and Hyde at the moment. I think it'll be a Liverpool win. But how many? The weird thing is, this could equally likely be a 2-1 or a 6-0, which I find bizarre. So I'm going to go bold. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to say 4-0 Liverpool.
4-0? I thought you were going to go with Man United winning. Jeez.
And the final game of the weekend is West Ham at home to Brentford.
Ooh. If this had been Graham Potter, I would have said West Ham are definitely about to lose this one. I think it's going to be a draw. I'm going to go with a 1-1 because I still think Nuno is still getting his methods over. But I think
Yeah.
West Ham will look a lot more solid now. 1-1 for me.
Cool. Yeah, I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for Brentford. I think they've just got more about them than West Ham, to be honest. So, yeah,
Ooh,
2-1
okay.
2-1 Brentford.
Have you locked those in though, Joe? You know,
They're
the
locked in,
supercomputer's
ready to go.
calculated.
The supercomputer is all set. We are all ready to go for another weekend of Barclays Premier League action.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Joe. Appreciate that. And thank you to everybody who's listening. If you do like our content, please do make sure you subscribe on your favorite audio platform, Apple, Spotify, Amazon. Check out the YouTube page. Check out our TikTok as well. We've got TikTok as well. But again, Fulham away this weekend for the Arsenal. Hopefully get those 3 points. We'll do hopefully a post-match review afterwards, Joe, to celebrate, hopefully. And then let's see how we go. But thank you for the moment. Thank you to everyone listening, and we'll catch you on the next one of Red Lines, Half Spaces. Bye for now.